Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here today to talk about Tubi TV and another movie. It's weird how it works out. I mean, because it's a movie I've been wanting to see. Whenever I heard it coming out, and this is a long time ago, 2004 or something like it came out. And or in the early 2000s, I wanted to see it. But I forgot about it. And all of a sudden it popped out, oh crap, I better watch this. And I watched the whole thing, and it was the live action version of this movie, Fat Albert. It was the Fat Albert movie. And this is way before Bill Cosby got in trouble for all the crap he got in trouble for. You know what I mean? And back when he was still liked. It basically revolves around this one girl, Dolores Armstrong or something like that. And she doesn't have any friends and stuff like that. And she was watching the cartoon of the Fat Albert. I'll get to the cartoon in a little bit. And then something happened. She had a tear, and the tear went through the remote. And then Fat Albert was like, "Oh, look at tears! Someone needs help." And I guess he goes and he runs to the TV, jumps through the TV. Now she was freaked out. I'd be freaked out too. They showed like them running the TV and then her looking at it and then she running the TV. I'd be kind of scared too because the guy gonna come through. You don't know what to expect. That would be kind of scary. Not the only thing scary in the movie. That would be a little scary though. And he tried to get through a TV. He's too big. They have to pull him out. And then the other characters from the Cosby Show jump through the other Cosby kids jump through the screen too and help her out. And basically, help her get friends and stuff. But one thing, she was very standoffish and kind of a little stuck up. She didn't really want to have friends. That was the thing. She said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want. I mean, it's not like she really didn't have. She probably would have had been more popular if she wasn't so standoffish. And she had a friend that was an adopted sister named who was really popular and pretty. And John Fat Albert had a thing for her. And basically, you see Fat Albert and the kids like cartoon characters in the real world, but they're like regular looking people. Now, the problem I had with the movie was the cartoon. I mean, because it's supposed to the cartoon, I grew up watching the cartoon as a kid. I loved the cartoon. And it was filmation, like the 70s and maybe very early 80s. And it's like the kids from that era coming into the modern age. But this is the problem I have with the movie. They screwed up the cartoon. They made a cartoon modern looking. It looked nothing like the old-fashioned filmation animation. You know, it looked modern day. I mean, they were in a junkyard, but it was all spaced out like they do like modern day cartoon. And they had like Looney Tunes type sound effects and some Looney Tunes type gags. They didn't have that crap in the Fat Albert show. I mean, they had comedy. I think they had a laugh track in the show. I mean, the show was still funny, but they didn't have like Looney Tunes type gags in it. Or like Looney Tunes like music or like little sound like blinking that to go bling, 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 bling. Like, you know what I mean? That was the problem I had. That's the biggest problem of the cartoon. And at the end of the credits, they play the theme song for the show. Na, 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 gonna have a good time. Hey. They play that a few times. And they do a thing at the end credits where they have like the live action, thing. And it was in front of like the old shack, and it looked like the old cartoon. But then they showed the cartoon version. It was like this open-looking junker. It looked nothing like that. That's where they screwed up, the cartoon. Cartoon looked nothing like Fat. It was on TV Land and stuff like that, but I don't think TV Land played those cartoons. I don't think. It should have had something else. I don't know. Anyways, they only able to stay in the real world for so long because they started to lose color, and they were going to eventually fade away because they were just cartoon characters, and the interesting thing, they had like stuff like Mushmouth learned how this little girl taught Mushmouth how to talk, and he learned to talk, and he talked normal, like. And some of the people started acting normal. They were different. Like that one guy with a hat over his head. He took his hat off and he had a normal face. In the cartoon, he didn't have any face because they never drew one in. And it was interesting because they asked Fat Albert to take off his sweater and stuff like that. And he goes, I don't know what's underneath because they never drew anything there. They're limited to like what the artist drew of them, which is an interesting idea. The show was all right. It wasn't like particularly funny, but it's very likable and stuff like that. And they did like a modern day, like a rap version of their theme song, which I thought was kind of cool. They created a car to take, to go on a date that, one girl, the Dolores girl, and that one, I can't remember his name. It's weird though, because I was watching this years later. I forgot some of the names of the characters on the Fat Albert show. And then Fat Albert with Laura, I think it was. They went to this fair, and the fair rides were way cooler than anything I ever seen. It reminded me when I went to Oktoberfest. They had a lot of really neat rides. I wanted to go on the ride and stuff like that, but the other guys were like, well, let's get some beer. I didn't want to get separated from those guys because there's a ride and stuff like that. And it was weird being in a country where, I knew some German and stuff like that. But I felt really strange, like a real stranger out there, by myself, or I would have went, on a lot more of the rides and stuff like that, because that shit looked cool. When you went to I had like one beer now. All the other guys weren't into the ride. I would wanted to go on the rides and stuff, because it looked really, really cool. They had some really neat looking stuff. They might have those dark rides. The neat looking dark ride they have in Europe, Anyways, the car they made was really cool. And there was like, the two of the cast, the college kids were in the bottom, like, making sound effects. I don't know how the hell they fit in there. I don't know where they were at. It was implausible. But it's a very likable movie. It's not incredibly funny, but it's likable. It's nice. It's innocent. And they talk about, I don't know if it was Robertson or the last name of the girl, Dolores Robertson, maybe. And there's a scene where Fat Albert goes to his creator, Bill Cosby, and Bill Cosby faints. And he says, you need to go back or you're going to turn to celluloid dust. But he says that his character, and there's a little bit of truth with the Cosby Show, was based on Dolores' grandfather, not in real life, but her grandfather, Albert Robinson. And Fat Albert said that's who that Fat Albert was based on, Albert Robinson. Yeah, there's a true part of the story, and talk about her grandfather passed away, but Dolores Robertson, that was probably someone else different, right? Anyways, and at the end of the movie, they show, see when him and Bill Cosby were real short. But at the end of the movie, they say they go to the grave of Albert Robinson, said, our Fat Albert, right? And then they show all these kids, all his friends, his old men, and Bill Cosby, puts a show on each one. They said, these are the characters that influenced the characters in the Cosby Show. And that was really interesting. I assume that was real. They don't have that on IMDb, but they addressed it a little bit in Wikipedia, so I assume that part was real. But, I enjoyed the Cosby, Fat Albert for what it was. It's very, there's nothing really objectionable at all. They talk about guys bare bottom, but they don't show nothing. Because when they were fading, I guess you see a guy's butt, I guess. I didn't show nothing. They said it's broken too. Or so they didn't show nothing. They covered, nothing was done. It's a pretty harmless PG-rated movie. And like I said, very likable. So I give it an 8 out of 10. So I hope you like the video. Bye. Till next time, please. Take care, my legion.